All right, let's talk about something you've probably seen 1,000 times, but maybe never thought too much about. Those food hygiene rating stickers. You know, the ones you see on the doors of cafes, takeaways, and shops all over the UK. We're going to decode what those numbers really mean.
You know the one, right? That familiar green and black sticker, proudly showing off a big number 5. It's a pretty common sight, and when you see it, you probably feel a little bit better about walking in. But what's the real story behind that one little number?
Because, behind that score, there's a whole system of inspections, checks, and balances. So the big question is, what are you actually being told when a place gets a 5? Or for that matter, a 2, or even a 0? Okay, so let's get right into it. The whole thing is called the Food Hygiene Rating Scheme. It's run by the Food Standards Agency, along with local authorities, and its main job is simple, to give you a clear, easy-to-understand snapshot of what's happening behind the scenes in a kitchen. Really, it's all about helping you make a smart choice. The whole point of this straightforward 0 to 5 scale is to give you, the customer, the power. It gives you some real transparency about a place's hygiene standards before you decide to eat there or buy food. So here's the breakdown, and it's pretty clear. A 5 is the top score, very good. A 4 is good, and a 3 is generally satisfactory. It's fine. But this is where you really want to pay attention. A 2 means some improvement is necessary. A 1 warns you that major improvement is necessary. And if you see a 0, well, that's a huge red flag. It means urgent improvement is required. So, how does a business actually get one of these scores? Let's pull back the curtain and see what a food safety officer is really looking for during an inspection, and, just as important, what they're not looking for.
Okay, this is something you've really got to remember. The rating is just a snapshot in time. It reflects what the inspector found on that one specific day. After they leave, it's totally up to the business to keep those standards up every single day.
The inspectors are focused on 3 main things. First, how the food is physically handled. Is it being prepared, cooked, and stored properly? Second, they look at the building itself. Is it clean? Is there good ventilation? Any signs of pests? And third, they check the management. Are there solid systems in place, and is the staff properly trained to keep food safe all the time?
Now, this is a super important point. A 5-star hygiene rating does not mean it's 5-star food. The score tells you absolutely nothing about how tasty the food is, the quality of the ingredients, or how good the customer service is. A place can be squeaky clean and still serve you a pretty terrible meal. Pretty much anywhere you can think of that sells food gets a rating. We're talking restaurants, supermarkets, takeaways, even hospitals and schools. But there are a few exceptions. Think about a news agent that only sells, say, pre-wrapped chocolate bars. They're considered really low risk, so they probably won't have a rating. All right, so a place gets a rating, but do they actually have to show it to you? Well, this is where it gets a little bit complicated, because the rules are different depending on where you are in the UK. So here's the deal. If you're in Wales or Northern Ireland, it is absolutely the law. Businesses have to display their rating sticker where you can easily see it, like on the front door. But in England, it's voluntary. They're encouraged to show it, but they don't have to. So if you're in England and you don't see a sticker, it might just make you wonder why not. But that brings us to a really great part of the whole scheme, your right to know. Just because a business might not be showing its sticker doesn't mean you can't find out the score for yourself. So what can you do? Well, first, just look for the sticker. If it's not there, you can hop online and search for pretty much any business on the Food Standards Agency's website. It's super easy. You could also just ask someone who works there. And don't forget, if you're in Wales or Northern Ireland, they legally have to tell you the rating if you ask. So, what happens when things go wrong? Let's take a look at what happens when a business gets a really low score, because this scheme isn't just about giving out good ratings. It has real teeth. Yeah. Getting a low score is a big deal. It's not just some bad press, it's a formal warning that triggers an immediate response from the local food safety officer. They will step in and require that business to take action. The whole process escalates depending on how serious the problem is. It usually starts with clear advice and a deadline to fix things. If that doesn't happen, they can move to formal enforcement actions, and in the absolute worst-case scenarios, where there's a real and immediate risk to your health, an officer has the power to shut the place down right there on the spot. And the system is smart about how it works. It's all risk-based. This means businesses that are considered higher risk get inspected way more often, sometimes every 6 months. Lower-risk places might only get a visit every couple of years. It just makes sure that the authorities are keeping the closest eye on the places that need it most.
So there you go. That little green and black sticker is a lot more than just a number. It's the end result of a detailed, professional inspection designed to keep you safe. It's powerful information right at your fingertips. So the only question left is, now that you know the real story behind the score, will you check before you choose?